Hello guys, and welcome to a new series on the channel called Doctor Who Rewrites. This is where I take a Doctor Who story that I thought had a lot of potential and rewrote it with ideas that I feel would have worked better if they'd gone in that direction. This week we are looking at Hellbent, a story that is pretty much one of those you hate it or you love it. I personally hated it as it had a lot of potential to go in certain directions that would have made the Doctor Who universe a lot more interesting, especially seeing as we saw the return of the Time Lords in Gallifrey. It had so much beautiful story potential that in one episode was cut down, especially when the previous episode had so much hype and was really well acted and performed. If you haven't figured out by now, I'm of course talking about Hellbent, the Series 9 finale. So let's dive right in, and at the end of the video I'll explain why I made the changes that I did. So this is Hellbent and my rewrite script. Doctor Who, Hellbent rewrite. We open it on a street in London. We see a small cafe on the roadside and watch the Doctor, dressed in his Hellbent outfit, enter the premises. The TARDIS is nowhere to be seen. The scene switches to the inside of the cafe, which is full of people ordering drinks and food. The Doctor slides into a booth where he picks up a menu. Someone else is sitting in the booth across from him, but we cannot see this person at all. The Doctor smiles as he notices who it is. "Hello there. It's been a while." The Doctor orders a drink, then leans back into the booth seat. "I bet you're wondering why I'm here." His order arrives. He pulls out a straw, commenting it adds more fizz. We notice he is drinking tea. He takes a sip, smiles, and places it back down. "It all started on a planet so very far away, and so far in the future." The setting changes to show the Doctor standing, looking at Gallifrey's citadel as in Heaven Sent. He sends the boy off to tell everyone he is back. A stern look on his face, he wanders away from the glass dome towards an old barn, the one seen in Day of the Doctor. He enters the barn. It hasn't changed. The sack he used to carry the moment is hung up, while a battered and dusty fez sits on the same old crates. He smiles slightly, remembering Grandad. The smile fades slowly as he looks around and remembers where he is. The barn door opens, and in rushes the boy, followed by a woman and a man. The man is dressed in a rather beaten furs, much like the Invasion of Time, while the woman is dressed in a more Time Lord Cardinal-esque outfit. They both stand shocked. "Hello." They ask the Doctor who he is, and his answer is, "You already know." The man agrees to stay with them as the woman heads back to the Citadel. The man talks to the Doctor as if they were old friends, discussing what had happened since the Time War ended. Back in the Citadel, we see Rassilon standing, looking out of the window of the dome's highest citadel. Timothy Dalton is back, though he is more rough-looking, his hair greyer, his face covered in stubble and dirt. The woman has entered and stands quietly in the corner. The cloister bells ring quietly as Rassilon paces. "The Doctor is back! How?" Enter the Sisters of Khan, 3 of them, who tell Rassilon that he should have expected this. Rassilon scowls, declaring that the Doctor is an enemy, having left Gallifrey to die in a small corner of existence. Some of the Council agree, while others don't. A call comes in from a soldier who states that the cloister wraiths are moving, disturbed by a dangerous presence. The General asks Rassilon what his orders are. Rassilon thinks for a moment before he turns to face the Sisters of Khan. "If the Doctor has come back, he has come back for only one purpose." He starts to exit, the Council starting to dismiss. The General asks what that purpose is. "To die." We cut back to the diner where the Doctor looks like he's just been asked a question. "How do I know what he said?" "Well, I don't, but it's pretty obvious. Rassilon never liked me." He takes another sip of tea before continuing his story. The Doctor and the outcast man are sitting outside, eating what looks to be tomato soup. They laugh and chuckle as more outcasts join them. There is a small celebration at the return of the Doctor. Children run around while adults ask questions and the Doctor answers them. They are interrupted by a woman, the same woman who ran back to alert them that They are interrupted by the woman who runs back to alert them that Rassilon is coming here. The Doctor's smile fades as he stands up. The man asks if there is anything he can do. The Doctor responds, "Stay safe." He walks forward as we see in the distance a small fleet of carriers appear, heading for the barn. They ask the Doctor to return with them, but he merely smiles and waves. He turns, placing his foot deep in the sand, drawing a long, long line. He looks at the ships and says just one word. "Neutral." He then heads back to the table and starts to eat again. The ships, unsure what to do, fly back to the Citadel. In the capital, Rassilon is standing in the Panopticon, several council members surrounding him. He turns to face the soldiers as they return. He asks them where the Doctor is. They explain what happened, and Rassilon asks what the hell the Doctor means. "I think he means the barn is neutral ground, sir." Rassilon hisses, telling them to try again. The General goes with them this time. The ships once again land. The Doctor is sitting playing cards. The vessel lands, and the General exits, followed by soldiers. He calls to the Doctor, who asks the General to join in the card game. The General sits down, asking what the Doctor wants. The Doctor deals the cards. "If I win?" "If you win, I shall come with you." "And if you win?" "Bring me Rassilon." They play a hand and the Doctor wins. The General stands up and heads to his ship. As he does, the Doctor shouts, "Tell Rassilon." Check. Fuming, Rassilon shouts out and paces the Panopticon. The guards and lords stay quiet as he does. The sisters watch in amusement. "What the hell does he want?" "You, sir." Rassilon looks confused. The sister mother moves forward. "The Doctor did many terrible things during the war, Rassilon. The Time Lords even more so. It's time to accept the price of victory." Rassilon looks at the sister, bewildered. Shaking his head, he orders his personal guards to accompany him. The General follows him out of the hall. Once again the ships fly over the barn. They land and the soldiers disembark. Rassilon exits last, following the General and the Sisters of Khan. He moves forward, coming face to face with the Doctor. "Mate, what do you want?" The Doctor smiles, saying he just wants to come home. He says he wants to be accepted and he wants to live in peace. Rassilon asks why he can't. "Because there are still crimes to be answered for." Rassilon starts to justify the Time Lord war methods. The Doctor stops him. "Your crimes. During the war and today, here and now. We all did what we needed to do, to a point. But you sent soldiers to their deaths without a second thought. You never looked for another way. You would rather every last soldier died if it meant you lived. You killed several Time Lords when they questioned you. And you killed Clara to get to me. I won't have that. She sacrificed herself because you tried to get to me through another friend. I need not answer for my crimes. You have as much blood as I do. I am Lord President of Gallifrey. Former." Rassilon starts laughing, telling the Doctor he is no one with nothing on his side. The Time Lords have sworn allegiance to him and no one else. His personal guards move forward, weapons raised and aimed. As he gives the command to fire, the General, his men, and the outcasts move to the Doctor's side. Rassilon holds the fire order and smiles. "You have a small army, Doctor. They mean nothing." "We shall see." Rassilon heads off back to his ships and flies away. The Doctor turns to the General, who asks what the plan is. We dethrone the king. We look back to the cafe where the doctor is eating an English breakfast. He offers a sausage to the person across from him, bringing it back as if rejected. It was a foolish gamble. No one could have helped me. But I needed the support in taking Rassilon away from his leadership. I couldn't just tell him to leave. He has hundreds, if not thousands, of followers. He takes another bite of bacon. How did I manage it? I used to be Lord President. Don't laugh. I did. But when I was younger, I used to escape to the wastelands when I was bored of duty. I know all the back alleys. The scene cuts back to the council chambers where the lords and cardinals stand, shouting their allegiance to Rassilon. I saved our world from death. I brought us back from the dark. I won the war. The doctor is nothing. He was always a nobody, and now he tries to turn our people against us? Never! The soldiers and lords cry out in agreement. The camera pans down through the many levels, finally settling outside where the doctor, the general, the man, and the woman stand, waiting with a small army of soldiers and outcasts. The general asks the doctor if he knows why he was in the dial. The doctor says yes. The general asks why he didn't just tell them the answer. Because the answer would not have stopped you asking. They head along the small rock face, stopping at a metal door. The doctor opens it. Inside is a tall ladder. The general asks where it leads. The doctor answers. The cloisters. Back in the council room, Ahila stands, eyes closed, looking out to the Citadel dome. Rassilon enters, scoffing as he sees her. He asks why she is still on the planet. Ahila replies, saying she must see this through to the end. Rassilon says the end will be swift and quick. Ahila agrees, but asks for who. Rassilon declares, the doctor. We shall see. Back at the rock face, the general looks afraid. He tells the doctor that the cloisters are a bad place where death roams free. Anyone who enters never leaves. The doctor smiles, saying, I did. The general sighs, agreeing that if the doctor can guarantee their safety, he will agree to the plan. I can't. I really want to. But I can't. We flick back to the cafe where the doctor is drinking more tea, his plate now empty. The cloister room is dangerous because it is the first door to the Matrix. The Time Lord's version of the Cloud. It's protected by cloister wraiths, or sliders as we used to call them. Dangerous creatures that, if touched, suck you into the Matrix, deleting your body but saving your mind. Painful way to go. Still, at least you exist in an infinite collection of data. Well, Time Lords do. Any other species and BAM! Dead as a doornail. We flick back to Rassilon, who is now in the control room for the Wraiths. I can't! They would be killed! The Wraiths are a guard unit. They only suck a person into the Matrix if they attempt to break into the Matrix itself or harm it. It's punishment, not execution. You will make the Wraiths' touch lethal, or you will find yourself weeping, old man. The Keeper of the Matrix reluctantly agrees. He reprograms the Wraiths, who turn from blue to red. The camera picks up the Doctor and his team entering the cloister room. And now we wait. The Doctor enters the room first, Sonic in hand, scanning the area. He motions that it's safe and the group enters. All inside, the Doctor smiles, gloating that he was right. They continue forward, pausing to let a wraith go by. The General questions why they are red, and a puzzled Doctor states he doesn't know. As it passes, it slowly stops, turning to face the group. The serene face jumps to a screaming attack face. The group splits as the wraith launches forward, catching several soldiers. Looking on the monitor, Rassilon laughs in glee. The lords behind him looking uncomfortable. The Doctor motions for the group to follow him. They pass many wraiths, pillars, wires, dead Daleks and debris before they finally hit the exit. Running out, the Doctor locks the door. Rassilon exits the Matrix room, alerting his guards and security that he will be down soon to view the Doctor's capture. The lords follow him, asking what his plans are. To pick off his group one by one. They continue down the tunnel, hitting a few more traps. As more soldiers are taken and killed, Rassilon's glee increases. He believes he is winning. The lords are seeing more of who Rassilon really is. The Doctor's group finally makes it inside the citadel. The Doctor tells the general, the man, the woman to stay here as he must face Rassilon himself. After a few protests, they agree. The Doctor heads into the council chambers where he comes face to face with Rassilon. You made it. Why the dial? You know why. Then ask me. Here and now. Ask. Who is the hybrid? Wrong. What? Why was I in the dial? To know the answer. Wrong. I was there because you feared me. Feared what I may do if I returned. I fear no one. Then why not face me? Why send your troops after me, kill my friends, exile me to a Time Lord prison? Why not face me? Rassilon stays silent. The Doctor questions the Lord's motives in staying beside Rassilon. He questions why they accept him as leader. He asks if they witnessed the mindless violence he made happen to stop a small band of rebels when he could have outnumbered them and captured them with no deaths. Rassilon stays silent as he is questioned until he snaps. I am Lord President. I don't have to answer to anyone. I saved Gallifrey, led it to victory many, many times. I gave our species regenerations and time travel. I deserve respect. Wrong. Omega gave us time travel, and you are right, you deserve respect. Many years ago you did. But here and now, the Time War could have ended hundreds of years earlier if you had just been a bit more tactful. What the hell was the fun in that? The Lords gasp. Rassilon shows his true face. Explain how in your first life you hunted and killed species that didn't stand up to your design. Tell everyone how you butchered children during the war and the Dalek camp raid. Spell out how you killed half of your own council because no one took your side. You are pure evil. You are right, Doctor. The war lasted many years because I wished it to. For so long our race has been observers. We deserve to rule the universe. We are all powerful and all knowing. As Rassilon rants, the soldiers enter, led by the general. The lords agree that Rassilon should be arrested. He calls his guards and there is a firefight. Several lords are hit and the general is wounded. Rassilon aims his gauntlet at him, laughing at his demise. A shot is heard as the Doctor fires several rounds into Rassilon. Rassilon falls backwards. I do love a good stun setting. The Doctor throws away the gun and helps the general up. Rassilon is arrested and his guards are taken away. The general and the council thank the Doctor and asks if he requires anything. He says, I have 2 requests. Down in the Matrix room, the Doctor looks on at Clara's final moments. His eyes full of tears, he watches her die. The general says that if he wishes to speak with her, he can, but time will be limited. The Doctor nods as Clara is brought forward. He explains the situation and apologizes for not being able to save her. Clara smiles as they both say goodbye for the last time. She fades away as his timeline resets. The Doctor moves behind the console and activates some controls. What are you doing? Something illegal. But I'm president, so sue me. He pulls Clara's mind from her body milliseconds before she dies and places her inside her own world in the Matrix, surrounded by family and friends. The Doctor pulls some more controls. He then seals the world and safely stores it inside the TARDIS. The General smiles. He then says he has one more duty to do, handing over control of the city to the General until he returns. He enters his TARDIS and leaves, returning to Earth. He goes to visit Ashildr, where she apologizes and asks what the hybrid is. Rassilon feared the hybrid, and he locked me away because he feared me. Nasty coincidence. He smiles at her before injecting her with a solution. He tells her to protect this alley for as long as she can. She asks if he is still mad at her. He smiles. You can die properly now. No more immortality. He exits, leaving her to wonder if he will ever forgive her. He returns to Gallifrey, where he says goodbye to the man who turns out to be Leela's husband, Andred, and the woman who turned out to be Rodan. He says goodbye, telling the General that his choice for president was a good one, telling him to say hi to Fred, the original name that Romana preferred. We end back at the cafe where the Doctor is leaning forward. The person on the table is finally revealed when the Doctor asks, "Do you understand now?" We see Danny Pink, saved by the Doctor before his death, placed inside the Matrix with Clara to live together forever. Danny smiles, thanking the Doctor, asking why he told him this. "Too dangerous to tell Clara. She'll hate it if she finds out it's not real. Be safe, PE." The Doctor gets up and leaves, heading out to the cafe and turning a corner where he comes face to face with Rigsy, his wife, and his baby. He tells him Clara is safe and that it wasn't Rigsy's fault. He tells him to look after the baby as he will grow up to be something marvelous. He says goodbye, enters the TARDIS and takes off. Everything in the universe fixed.